welcome to this week's Equipment Finance Cares Foundation Friday. We have some special guests today, and we're talking about the Ridgewood School. Welcome Scott Thacker, CEO of Ivory Consulting Services, Alia Ranganwala, Director at Ridgewood School, and Anna Keene, kindergarten teacher at the Ridgewood School. I appreciate you all joining me today. This is a unique recording because I want to say Ridgewood was one of our original Foundation Fridays. So Alia, it's great seeing you again. Scott, thanks again for setting this up, and we're looking forward to updates on what's going on at Ridgewood.
Hey, so just to recap a little bit about Ridgewood, we are a pre-K through 8 elementary independent school in Springfield, Ohio. We've been around for over 100 years. We're heading into about 106 years. So we've been, we've been known for academic excellence. Scott was a previous student from the class of 69 at Ridgewood School. We have been working hard to stay connected to our alumni since we're pre-K through 8, and we lose our students for a while as they head off to high school. So we've been fortunate to be holding annual events for alumni to stay connected. Our demographics at Ridgewood School have evolved over the years. If you walk down our hallways, you see our history, and we've moved from maybe having some of the most elite families in the city from back in the early 20s, 30s, and 40s to now having a very diverse population, socioeconomically, religion, race-wise. And so we're really proud of the type of school that we've evolved into. Later on, we'll be happy to share some of the exciting academic contests that we continue to participate and achieve in, and some new whole child philosophies we're introducing to our school.
Perfect. Thank you for that update. And Scott, I'm not going to do the math in regards to how many years ago you graduated. But
it's been a while.
And I wasn't head of school then.
And if you were, you've aged very well.
Yes.
So Scott, besides you being an alumni of the Ridgewood School, you want to just talk about how did you continue to stay involved, and what does the school mean to you, 50 plus years later?
Well, first, Jesse, thanks for having me again on Foundation Friday. It's great to be with you again. When my brother and I grew up in Springfield, Ohio, we both attended Ridgewood, and it was a family affair. My brother is 3 years behind me. My mom was the librarian, and my dad was on the board of trustees. And so the school back then was a bit smaller than it is now, and everyone was very hands-on. So I remember quite fondly a lot of Saturdays we would go over and do whatever work needed to be done at the school to keep the building and the grounds nice. And so it was very much a family affair, and we carpooled with other families that lived in our neighborhood. And so I became close to the other people in our carpool. In fact, my closest friend, Jeannie from 5th grade, I'm still in touch with. And every time I go back home to Springfield, I always stay with her in her home out on the farm.
Okay.
And it's like nothing ever happened over the last X number of years since we both graduated. So it's been something that I think has been foundational to me. I do not think I would have achieved the level of success in the various areas that I have without having gone to Springfield, because from a very young age, we were put into a very academically rigorous program. I started taking French and Latin in the 5th grade. When we were in 7th and 8th grade, we had to write a composition every weekend. It was the only homework that we had. And the composition was quite rigorously, shall we say, addressed with a red pen on Monday morning. And so we learned a lot about how to write. And now, why am I still in touch? Well, unfortunately, while my brother was in high school, he died. And so when that happened, the school named the study hall after him. So we have the Todd R. Thacker Study Hall room, and it still exists today. And so it was very important to me when that happened, and the school was so generous to make this memorial, that it be kept. And so I would, every few years when I was back home, I would stop by the school, just take a look at the room. If it needed anything, just grab my checkbook and make it happen. And so 6 years ago, as Leah just said, when we had our centennial campaign, I was able to completely redo the study room and modernize it now. And so it's a really beautiful place, and I think the students enjoy gathering there. So that has kept me connected to the school more than anything else. But I think also because of how it impacted me, my goal is to work towards having other current students be impacted the same way I was impacted. I don't care what the student's dream is. I just want them to know that they can achieve their dream, because I had a dream and I achieved it, and you can do it too. So that's kind of the message that I impart. And I've been very lucky that since COVID, one of the bright sides of COVID is when we all went on Zoom, the board called and asked if I would be a remote virtual trustee. And so I'm now the second generation from my family on the board of trustees, and it's a very honorable thing to talk about, to be in that role. And I'm very active on the development committee. And then a couple of years ago, also during COVID, actually, Jeannie and I were together awarded the Alumni Distinction Award for the work that we continue to do over the years with Ridgewood. So I couldn't imagine a day without thinking about Ridgewood. And it's always a delight to receive the newsletter that comes with, you read about all the students and what they're up to, and all the alum and what they're up to. And every September we have an alumni dinner, and it's fun to go back to school for that. So there have been so many wonderful things that have come from being part of this school that it just keeps me very grounded and very focused on what's, at the end of the day, the most important thing, which is childhood education.
Thank you for that, Scott. And I had the privilege a couple years ago, we were in Cincinnati for our EF Cares Ohio event, to actually take the drive with you and visit the Ridgewood School, which was neat. So Ali, you'll be able to show me around the school, and I got to see the history, all the different class sizes of when, I think how long do those pictures go back? Do you have some of the original ones?
1924. Yeah, 1924 is the first graduating class. So
So it's like seeing the history and then being able to go into classrooms and interact with the kids. It's good. It's neat to kind of see that in person as opposed to just hearing about it virtually. So thank you again for allowing. I think it was me and a handful of people that were there, which was awesome.
That was
so Anna. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I was just going to add in, that was such a fun day. And it just goes to show you that you were willing, along with Ricky and others, to drive all the way from Cincinnati to Springfield. Not that it's that far, but it's still an hour and a half, to visit the school and see what this thing's all about that Scott keeps talking about. And I'm glad that it captivated you enough. And then once you got there, you realized, yes, this is a very special place.
Yeah, nope, absolutely. And Anna, you've been a teacher there for 6 years?
Yes, and I absolutely agree.
You came right at the centennial marker. So that's perfect.
I did, and I remember I remember when Scott visited, actually, I don't know if you remember, but we talked about STEM, because in my classroom I do STEM programs, and we talked about using Legos as well. And I agree that it's an absolutely special place.
Perfect.
Yeah, I remember also one of my big passions is around childhood financial literacy. I think in the country at large, we have a significant dearth of financial literacy among young people. And that translates into elderly people or adults or mature folks not being as financially literate as they could be. And so I'm really glad that you're focusing on that part of the STEM and early childhood.
Yeah. And we all are actually focusing on the finance part in our middle school area, as well as our students have recently been running the Zero Waste store in downtown Springfield. And so they open shop once a month, and they have products. They're focused on sustainability. So they make sure, they're buying products for their shops. and also, you know, taking in sales, processing sales with, they take our iPad and, you know, they can handle credit card purchases, cash purchases. They are budgeting for their store. In addition, they, you know, run a lot of programs where they're collecting money for local charities. And to do that, they again, you know, do bake sales. They do other sponsored events that they manage, like movie nights. So they're collecting money from students for the movie nights, and then in turn, you know, creating a certain amount of money collection for to give to charity, while also budgeting for their investment into those events. So I think introducing them to that has been helpful. We're also kind of trying to partner with our local bank to develop a bank account for students, seeing if the school, if the banks would still offer that. So we've been after them to kind of have a banking opportunity once a month at Ridgewood, so that our students could start some kind of a bank account with them and then do deposits monthly. So we're hoping to get that going this year as well. That area.
That's a neat program. I know my teenager could use some, you know, financial stuff instead of, Dad, I need this all the time.
Right. And now with Apple Pay, they don't know if, or with credit cards where like this, eventually this money that has to back this up. They think you can just keep buying. And the magic, you know, is just, you just zap it. So it's, so we have to get them out of that zone.
Sure.
Another new thing
So
starting,
sorry.
Yeah, just one other thing that we're starting is this year we're really wanting to focus on health and wellness. And so as a school, we are focusing on a health and wellness topic every month. So we're starting in September with sleep. So all the students have a sleep log, and they're logging their sleep nightly to see if they can meet their target sleep hours that they're supposed to be getting, you know, every night. And so they've been given a chart of what they need at each grade level. And then I think our older students, they're planning a skit. So they're going to kind of do something fun for the children in the morning assembly to show what a student looks like who's been gaming all night, got 4 hours of sleep, and coming to school, and how that's hindering their learning process. And then a child who has gotten restful sleep and the amount of hours that they should be getting. And, you know, then we're going to continue. We're expecting a nutritionist from University of Cincinnati, a physician, to come and speak to our students, and then also to our parents in the evening about good food choices for children, portion control, not having too much sugar in their lunchbox, stuff like that. So this whole year, we're focusing on new, you know, new topics every month related to health and wellness.
No, that's really neat. So what is the what's the average that these students are looking to, or are they shooting to sleep every night?
I think we're trying for 11 hours for the youngest students, and actually even middle school students need that. Getting 11 hours to a middle schooler is going to be difficult, but we're shooting for even like 9 to 11, and we're hoping to award them, you know, the student that shows that they have maintained best sleep habits. We're looking at like a little grand prize for them for maintaining that.
You just have to call home and ask mom and dad, be like, hey,
Yes.
we're gonna do a little audit here.
Yes, exactly. So
That's awesome. So being like a 501c3 organization, you know, Alia, you guys get monies. So when we make donations, like where do they go? Where do you guys allocate those funds?
well, for instance, some of the challenges teachers face, like Anna, is having students that are coming in that are below level and sometimes significantly below level. And maybe you could talk a little bit about how we address that.
Well, kindergarten and our early childhood program is interesting because we really do end up, that's a large area that we get a draw from the community in our early childhood. And you really get a mixed bag of where the children are at developmentally. So it helps for us to be able to maintain a lower like class size so that we can work with them one-on-one, and also to have staff available for tutoring needs and things like that, because really, I don't know how much time you all have spent with 5 and 6-year-olds, but their needs are a lot more than what you might think about, especially emotionally. Which is another thing that we've been focusing on with our wellness, mental health wellness, and that social emotional development. And we even started a new project. Our Zen Children's Garden is very exciting for me. So we're kind of trying to teach the whole child instead of just meeting those academic needs. We're trying to help them get to all these, so they're well-rounded, capable
Got
students.
Yeah, and so some specific investments we've made is in the Zen Garden and creating that for our students. And we did have help from our auction and then from generous donors like yourself. And recently, probably, I don't know if Scott remembers, but when he was here, I don't know if you had any tutors on staff. Do you recall?
No.
Your word. So the expectation was, oh, we have, our students don't need extra help. But, students in reality do need extra help. There are a number of students. And so we have moved from having like maybe 10 years ago, 1 or 2 tutors on staff to having 6. And so we have tutors specifically geared to support kindergarten first, then a tutor to support, second and third. And so we do use some federal funds that are available to us, which are very limited. But then, having donations helping us, with our bottom line, we're using some of our operating costs now to invest in additional staff, because we really are, poised to every student that we accept at Ridgewood. Like, I'm determined and our teachers are determined, we're going to help them, be successful. If we've taken them into our school, we're not going to let things slide. And if we need to move back, we move back to where we need to move back, and then help that child move forward. And that requires, in many instances, some, individualized instruction. So I've gotten students that have come from the public schools that have been forced to do a certain curriculum that they weren't ready for. And so they're just more frustrated, anxious, and behind. And so, we're dealing with their social emotional situation of rebuilding their confidence and then starting them where they need to be.
I mean, that's such a breath of fresh air, because typically you only hear like negative stuff about school, not like positive, where they're like trying to focus on mental health and physical well-being. So kudos to you guys. That's great.
And as a teacher,
and then
I just wanted to say that as a teacher who has worked in the public school system, I know that it is refreshing to work here. I love coming to work here and wouldn't go back to teaching in public schools for anything, because I am allowed the opportunity to meet the needs of the students, which I'm passionate about, and they're also passionate about it here. So we share that love of teaching a student to love learning, and then they in turn teach themselves. So that's really different here, and we don't have to be stuck into the testing and the specific curriculums. We have a little, we can flow a little bit and individualize based on what the students are interested in, and do a lot of, like, I do a lot of STEM in my classroom based on what they enjoy. So
perfect. Well, thank you for sharing that, ladies. And then Scott, I guess in closing, when people in our equipment finance community are watching, this video, what can our peers do to help Ridgewood?
My ask would be that we continue to financially support the school so that they can continue to offer a lot of the programs that we've just heard about on this podcast. And in the centennial 6 years ago, we did a building campaign. So we completely renovated a 1960s building and added onto it. So the facilities now are top notch. Our next campaign, which we're getting ready to launch early next year, will be one around academic excellence. So it will be to provide additional programs, additional compensation for teachers, additional tutors. So it's all around academic excellence. And so it would be wonderful if anyone was so motivated to assist the school in Southeastern Ohio to oh, sorry about that. I meant Southwestern Ohio. To help to assist the school in Springfield, Ohio, and Southwestern Ohio, to encourage more and more students to be academically focused and to achieve their dreams. We would be eternally grateful. It would just be really wonderful to be able to do more and more on the academic excellence side of the school.
Perfect, thank you. I mean, EF Cares, you know, we're proud to be a supporter of the school. You know, you ladies are doing a great job, and you know, just continue to keep us up to date with the programs and those outreaches that you're doing, and we'll continue to support you, and we'll look to get more people in our equipment finance community further involved as well.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks
No
again,
problem.
Jesse. It's
Well,
just amazing that you do this for us, and I can't thank you enough, and can't thank the other donors enough. And if there's anything we can do in return, please let me know.
You guys are fantastic. It's nice when you make donations and then you send like different impact things throughout the year in regards to where the money's going. That's awesome, because then we just share it with our community, as opposed to it's like, I think they got it, I don't know what's going on. But I mean, Ali, do you want to say anything in closing here?
I just want to say thank you. It's greatly appreciated. We continue to build our program and serve our community. I think our school is an excellent reflection of Springfield, and our you know, and our enrollment continues to grow, and we get to impact more and more students in our community, and we're proud to do that.
Excellent. Well, it's good to see your face again, Scott. I'll be seeing you soon at an industry event, and thank you all for your time today.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jesse.
Thank you.